Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Batra, page 151b, top of the page. Actually, we'll start from the beginning of the story. It's the bottom last line of 151a. Achase de Rav Din Bar Yosef havara piska sa de paradesa kolim as the havis chal shahavi mekan yele. The sister of Dimi Bar Yosef had a tract of land in an orchard. Whenever she was sick and thought that she was dying, she would transfer ownership of the orchard to Rav Dimi. Now we're on top of 151b. Tanikani shalach lo beina shalach la lekta kani kol hechad ba'is azal sharia ukino mine kikaimi hadraba. And when she recovered, she would retract her gift. On one occasion, she was sick. She sent a message to Rav Dimi, "Come and acquire my property." He sent a message back to her, "I do not want to come." She sent a message to him, "Come and acquire my property in any manner that you want." He went and reserved for her part of the orchard, and he acquired the rest of the property from her with an act of acquisition. When she recovered, she retracted the gift. Amar ma'ete ha sharia uknomina shlach le ilast asis machina lach besilva dero mabadma. She came before Rav Nachman to reclaim it. Rav Nachman sent a message to Rav Dimi, "Come to court." Rav Dimi did not come. He said, "What reason is there for me to come? Didn't I receive part of the property for her? And I acquired the rest of the property from her with an act of acquisition. Therefore, the acquisition is complete." Rav Nachman sent a message to Rav Dimi, "If you do not come, I will strike you with a thorn that does not draw blood," meaning I will excommunicate you. Besilva de la mabedama, as in Besilva de la mabedama, meaning I'll excommunicate you. Okay. Amar lahu slasahadi heicha havi maise. Amar le amra hachi. Vai deka maisa ha itisa. Amar lahu imkain. Habitzavi machos misa, bitzavi machos misa choizer. Inquiring into the matter, Rav Nachman said to witnesses, How did the act of transferring the property take place? The witnesses said to Rav Nachman, "This is what she said. Whoa, that woman is dying." Rav Nachman said to them, "If so, this is a case of one who issues directives with regard to his property due to his expectation of imminent death, and one who issues directives due to his expectation of his imminent death can retract his gift, even if he did not transfer all of his property, as he evidently granted the gift only because he expected to die." Itmar Madnashkir Rav Mikta Samru Rabbanan Kamid Rava Mishmein Marzutra Bereid Rav Nachman Damash Mishmein Rav Nachman Hare hi Kimat Nasbiri Hare hi Kimat Nashkir Mira Hare hi Mat Nasbiri Shima Madin Choser Hare hi Kimat Nashkir Mira Zlabain Baye Kinyan. It was stated that the Moraim disagreed with regard to a gift of a person on his deathbed that includes only a part of his property. The sages said the following before Rava in the name of Marzutra, son of Rav Nachman, who said in the name of Rav Nachman, "This type of gift is in some respects like the gift of a healthy person, and in other respects it is like the gift of a person on his deathbed. It is like the gift of a healthy person, as if he recovers, he cannot retract it, as stated in the Mishnah, and it is like the gift of a person on his deathbed, as it does not require an act of acquisition. Rather, It is acquired by means of verbal instruction alone. Amar lehu Rava lava mina lechu lo sis lo buki sariki berav Nachman. Ach yamar Rav Nachman arehi kiban nas bori ubai kinyan. Rava said to the sages, did I not say to you, do not hang empty pitchers upon Rav Nachman, meaning do not attribute incorrect statements to him? This is what Rav Nachman says. A gift of a person on his deathbed that includes only a part of his property is like the gift of a healthy person and requires an act of acquisition. If an act of acquisition is not performed, the acquisition of the gift is not effective even if the owner dies. Eisevei Rava Rav Nachman Shiar Karka Kol Shehu Madna Soy Kayemes My Love Telo Kenomene La Diknomene Yihachim Sefa Lo Shiar Karka Kol Shehu I Matna Soy Kayemes I Diknomene Amai Matna Soy Kayemes. Rava raised an objection to Rav Nachman from the Mishnah 146b. If he reserved for himself any amount of land, his gift stands. What? Is it not referring to even to a case where the gift was not acquired from him by means of an act of acquisition? No, it is referring to a case where the gift was acquired from him by means of an act of acquisition. Rava asks, if that is so, say the last clause of the Mishnah. If he did not reserve for himself any amount of land, and he recovered, his gift does not stand. And if the Mishnah is referring to a case where the gift was acquired from him by means of an acquisition, why does his gift not stand? Amar le hachi amar shmuel shchiv meira shekosav kol nechosav lacherim afal pi shekanim yadei amad choizer biyadua shlo haya mitzave ela machmas misa. Rav Nachman said to Rava, this is what Shmuel says with regard to a person on his deathbed who wrote a deed granting all of his property to others without reserving anything for himself, even though the gift was acquired from his possession by means of an act of acquisition. If he recovers, he can retract his gift. The reason for this is that it is known that he was issuing directives with regard to his property only due to his expectation of his imminent death. Eisvir of Nashal Shilove, Maasab Iman, Shilbane Roichel Shahoyachoyle, the Amanatanasan giving, Netilabiti, the Hibishnaima so, Mesa Vikaima de Berio, Hasam Mitzvah Machas Miso. Rav Misharshia raised an objection to Rava. There was an incident involving the mother of the sons of Rochel, who was sick, and she said, my brooch, kevinati, my brooch, I'm not sure what that is, but anyway, shall be given to my, is it brooch? I don't know. Shall be given to my daughter, and it is valued at 1,200 dinars. And this woman subsequently died. And the sages upheld her statement, even though the gift included only a part of her property and an acquisition was not performed. Bava replied, that incident is different, as the case there is referring to one who issues directives to his expectation of his imminent death. Ravina raised an objection to Rava from a Mishnah in Gittin 13a. In the case of one who says, give this bill of divorce to my wife, or give this bill of manumission to my slave, and then he dies, one should not give it after his death. But if one says, give 100 dinars to so-and-so, and then he died, one does give the recipient money after his death. This indicates that a gift of a person on his deathbed that includes only a part of his property does not require an act of acquisition. Umimai de lokani mine Dumya de get ma get lav bar kinyan afainami lo kanu mine asavnami mitzvah machmas misa. And from where can one learn that the money was not acquired from him by means of an act of acquisition? This is learned from the fact that this halacha was juxtaposed to the halacha with regard to a bill of divorce, indicating that this case is similar to a bill of divorce, just as a bill of divorce is not subject to a standard halachot of acquisition, so too, in this case of the gift of 100 dinars, the Mishnah is referring to a case where the money was not acquired from him by means of an act of acquisition. Rava replied, thereto, the Mishnah is referring to one who issues directives with regard to his property due to his imminent death. Rav Yehoshua amar mitzav machmas misa be'alma bay b'kinyan v'chitanai mas niso mas nayoso v'chadek onechasav ni'imat nashchiv mira shavuya. Rav Huna, the son of Yehoshua, said, the gift of one who issues directives with regard to his property due to his expectation of his imminent death generally acquires an act of acquisition, and when it is taught these brightot that an act of acquisition is not acquired, the brightot are referring to one who divides all of his property between two different recipients, as in that case, the sages accorded the gift of legal status of a gift of a person on his deathbed. V'hilchasa matna shchivim mixas boy kinyan v'afal gav demeis mitzav machos misalo boy kinyan uhu demeis amad choizu v'afal gav dekonomine. The Gemara concludes, and the halacha is that a gift of a person on his deathbed that includes only a part of his property requires an act of acquisition, otherwise it is invalid, even though he subsequently died, and the gift is inherited by his heirs. Instead, the gift of one who issues directives with regard to his property due to his expectation of imminent death does not require an act of acquisition, and this applies only when he subsequently died. If he recovered, he can retract his gift even though it was acquired from him by means of an act of acquisition.